Right, so finally we're doing a boat tour of our Amel Super Maramu. It's 53 foot and I'm going to start on the top deck and starting at the bow. So here we go.
You and me, we're family. The bond that we share is as deep as the sea. No matter how rough things may come to be, you and me, we're family. Sing ho, hey, long for the ride, ho, hey, I'll stay by your side, ho, hey, you'll always be alright by me, yes, alright by me.
Right, on the bow we have this seat, this lovely seat. It's called Dolphin Watch seat, and this is where the kids like to sit a lot. We've got a Rockner anchor down here and about 75 metres of chain. We've got a furling genoa. It's actually electric furling genoa, which is all operated from the cockpit, which is really handy. We've got Lofran's windlass here and two massive lockers here. This is pretty much full of lines and anchors. We've got 3 spare anchors. Apparently you can never have too many anchors. Guardrails. These are solid guardrails all the way around, which I really like because the children have a tendency to kind of lean over and it just gives a little bit more stability here. This is our spinnaker pole and our genoa pole. So when you put your spinnaker up or jenica up, both poles are out, so you pole out both sails. Jack stays, really important. The children are not allowed outside the cockpit without being clipped onto the jack stays. Right, up at the mast, yeah, you've got your main halyards, winches for genoa halyard, main halyard, spinnaker. Again, it's all electric, so you've got electric furler and electric out-haul and in-haul. This one actually is not working at the moment, so we've disengaged it and we're furling out the mainsail by hand at the moment. 2 solar panels here that are flush with the deck. They're not actually working very well. We want to replace them with 2 better ones as well. This is where we decided to put our life raft. We didn't want too much weight at the stern of the boat, so we wanted it, we thought the top deck right in the centre was a good place. So it's easily deployed. This is the traveller for the genoa. Sheets go back to a block there. If you noticed on the Amel, everything's kind of outside or inside, so you've got the whole space. You can keep walking up the sides of the boat easily. The mizzen sail is not automatic and it's all operated from winches here. At the moment we've got our dinghy on the aft deck because we're underway and doing quite a lot of sailing at the moment. An AB dinghy. We got it from Yacht Palmer Centre and we shall be doing a whole separate video on this dinghy because it's worth it. This is the ladder, it's the boarding ladder, so when we go swimming, we just unhook it off here and it basically slots into the 2 bits there and you tie it on. And the other thing it's also used for is a passerelle. This is an important piece of equipment. Well, actually, so is this, the boat hook. We really need a net as well because we drop so many things overboard. But this is a very important thing, and this keeps the Dan buoy on here. This is where we store our outboard. We can store it on the dinghy, on the davits, but at the moment it's on here. When we're under passage again, we prefer to either keep it on the side or inside the locker. Our new stainless steel arch with our new solar panels. These are brilliant. So that's just a new thing we've added. It doesn't come with the Amel. The stern gate, or whatever you want to call it. So there's a couple of steps down here, and this is where you can get onto your dinghy, or if you're on the dock, you can step off. This is one massive lazarette. In here, we have all the gas for cooking. It goes along there, it's the gas locker, and there's more gas down there, plus the gas for the barbecue. have all our fenders, which there's quite a lot of them, 4 fold-up bikes and 1 kid's bike in there. And on the other side we've got all the fuel, the petrol, and spare diesel as well. The way that all these lockers close up is with these little catches. They just slot over like that and then you just wind them up. And they can all be locked from inside just by pulling a little rope and tying it around a cleat. Oh, we've got a little friend come to say hello. This little bird is watching our boat tour. What do you think? Is it right? She's like, yeah, maybe, maybe not, who knows. A spare outboard. It's there just in case. We used it in an emergency. So going up the other side, we have another jackstay. If you notice also the decks, this is not real teak, just in case you thought it was. This is fake teak, which we like that because we don't have to worry about it. The downside to it is that because of the colour, it soaks up the heat. So sometimes it's too hot to step on this deck and it's best to stick to the cream areas. Also, when the dinghy's not on here, we have all the cushions out and you can lie on this aft deck as well. Okay, with another locker. So in here, it's another huge locker. It goes right down. It fits a paddleboard, another small dinghy, all our wetsuits and our fins for diving and snorkeling. Right, as you can see as well, we've got a solar shower up there, which we use because we don't get hot water. We don't have a way of heating that from solar, so we just use the sun, the natural sun. No solar panels, just like that. They're really good. We could probably do more of them because there's 5 of us. I haven't really talked about the rigging, but it's really over-rigged, these boats. Yeah, so you've got 2 lower shrouds, 2 shrouds that are going up to the first spreaders, and then you've got an upper shroud. Really good, strong rigging. Okay, we're going to go to the cockpit now. Cockpit area. This is where we hang out most of the time when we're underway. Plenty of space. You can fit 7 people, 8. So when you're driving the boat, you're on the helm, you can sit here and you don't get in anyone's way in the cockpit and they're not getting in your way. Throttle, got all the information on revs, engine hours. This is the bow thruster operated here and here. We've got autopilot, chart plotter. This is for the AIS, chart plotter, all our instruments, compass, and this is for all the furling devices for the mainsail and the genoa operated here. So you can, and the anchor as well, so you can literally sail this boat and park it all by yourself. So it's quite good for sort of short-handed sailing. So this is the spray hood. We've got a solid one here, which is good. It makes you feel quite safe. And then this comes over, and because it does get so hot, we've also got another shade that we can put over. So yeah, we often have that up. Protection from the sun. This table, yeah, it's enormous, but it's very handy. We eat off it, we do homeschooling on it, play on it. So it's a really good thing to have, and it folds away down into Rowan's cabin. But now I'm going to lift it up and show you how it lifts up so I can show you the engine bay. Right, this is the engine bay. This is Woody's favourite place. I'm going to go down here. It's so big you can all get inside it. Right, so we've got the engine, we've got the hot water tank here, we have the generator, battery charger is over there, water maker, the filters for the water maker, the water pump, and this is the main bilge. A little bit different on Amel, but everything, all the grey water goes into this main bilge that pumps out when that float switch goes up. Seawater strainer and the fire extinguisher. Cockpit locker, also loads of storage on this boat. The cockpit locker takes pretty much, it's all our kind of paints and sandpapers. We've got dinghy repair kits, we've got spares,
Sandpaper.
engine spares. Yeah, what else is in there?
Oh, my skateboard.
Oh yeah. Skateboards and rollerblades, they go in the back. They're really important. And
No, Mum, they're not important. They're very, 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 very important.
do you hear that? Okay.
No, a million more important.
A million more times important.
Yeah.
The barbecue's packed away at the moment.
Oh, barbecue!
That is in there. And
Buckets.
buckets, and
Chains.
chain. That's the chain for locking things up, and the dinghy. Pretty much everything goes in there, and children sometimes too.
Even Mummy's yoga mats.
Yoga mats.
Even me.
But there's more storage here as well. So in here we've got all the toys, water guns,
But most of them are broken.
balls,
Oh, my ball, my ball.
and badminton rackets and all that business.
Boo! Ah.
And then in here we've got all the snorkels and masks, swing, and there's also the cockpit shower that goes in there. So that drains away if it gets wet. That's also where the fuel fills up from as well. So this table comes away, and we've got this huge cockpit, which is really handy because with children they need space, so they even have to play football in this space.
Yay! 2 goals!
So this comes away and it goes down below, so you get a feel of how big this space is. So yeah, we can all sit round here, and it's really good under passage. Sometimes you can sleep on the floor if you want to, and sometimes the kids even sleep under the table to get some shade. The other thing I quite like is this, instead of having like boards that you have to put in and store somewhere, this pulls up, and then you just tighten up the fantastic Amel little screws, and that holds that in place, and this pulls across, and then you can lock it. So this is Rowan coming down the companionway. So now we're going to go start at the forepeak and work our way back. So this is the boys' cabin. A single berth here and a double here. At the moment we haven't got the double open, but you have to lift up this, and under here there's a cushion that goes here, and that makes it a double. Obviously loads of storage space on these Amels. Hats and gloves. We've got cupboards up here, which is all the linen, and then behind here there's a watertight bulkhead, and that's the anchor locker. And on the other side, more cupboard space for blankets, more wet weather gear. Cupboards for clothes, books, cars, and games, lots of games and Lego. Loads of space for loads of toys and games, books, cars, and clothes. But Ewan's got his little ukulele up there, there's a little shelf, there's space to put things up there. And this here, they've got these really neat little things on these boats. If you pull that, that's a line, and you tie it off on that cleat, that locks the lockers, the bow lockers. And there's lots of lockers that lock like that. In here, let's move that aside. This is where, woo! We've got the bow thruster. So what happens is the bow thruster is lifted up when we're not using it, which is great because it doesn't get fouled during the winter. We store a lot of stuff in the bilges. So we've got boxes, that's all arts and crafts, and that's sort of food and drink. And then the final thing that I quite like is this, is a table that opens up. So they've got an extra desk space in here if they need it. And that just neatly folds away. And instead of lee cloths on a boat, on this boat we have lee boards, so they fix on like that. But if you don't want to have them, you just fit them up and they kind of clip up in place up there. So that is the forepeak we're going to go through. So if you wanted to close the cabin there, there's a couple of these doors, and you can close that and have privacy in there. But otherwise they just hold open like this. And during the winter we store Darroch's violin here because it really doesn't like change in temperature or humidity, which is really tricky on a boat. So usually we have a dehumidifier here and this is hung just above it. Right, there's storage space up here. We've got knitting, spare kitchen roll, and this is a massive wardrobe space. So in there we've got spare life jackets, spare coats. We have 2 dehumidifiers packed away because we're about to set sail. Another guitar, sleeping bag, and a spinnaker and a ballooner all stored in there. Plus some pillows. I mean, it just goes on and on. That is a huge space. And then there's another bilge down here, which has got a seacock. There's also some of the lights up here. So we've got the tricolour, the anchor light, the bunk lights and the deck light up here, plus the steaming lights and the navigation lights. So this is the forward heads. We've got nice big deep sinks. You could washing in there if you want. Loads of kind of hanging rails, plus one up here, and this one extends. So when we've got washing and we can't hang it out, we can put it all in here. There's a shower curtain, and behind here is the shower. So when you shower, it all goes into that bilge, and it goes into a central bilge in the engine bay. Slightly different about the Amels because they don't have so many inlets and outlets, they just have a few, and so you don't have to worry about so many holes in the boat basically. We've got the heads, quite nice size heads, and loads of storage space. Right, through to the saloon area. The saloon area, so we've got this big table which actually extends out. We've got an extension so you can sit people all the way around. Again, loads more cupboard space. This is full of food. We put all our food. We're really packed up at the moment. As I say, we're getting ready for a 5-day sail, so just packed up in there. The guitars fit neatly in the corners there. We've got bilges in here. We've got loads of different things. So that's all our filters for water. This is our electric bilge. Under the table here we've got a bilge for plumbing parts and space for putting drinks as well. Bottles can store there quite safely without breaking. Remember, the boat's always moving, so everything needs to be stowed away. So we've also got these really long drawers. They just go on forever. You keep pulling them out and they just don't stop because they go right to the side of the boat. First aid manuals, extra safety gear. The final one is just tea towels and stuff. And then this is the arts and craft cupboard. It's not, like, goes back quite far, and it's just full of plasticine, pencils, crayons, felt tips, paints, kind of different crafty stuff. We've got braiding stuff. We've got beads somewhere in there. And it just goes right back. There's science stuff in there. So yeah, it's a good job there's a lot of space. So this is school for the boys. We've got Darroch is there, Ewan is here, SSB aerial and music cupboard, headphones. This is my office, it's not looking too good. Flags. So every time you go to a new country, you've got to put up your Q flag. You've got to put up a courtesy flag, which is the flag of the country. So we kindly got some from an OCC member, and we have well stocked up in flags. So we're just going to head around the world going to these different countries. Now the really neat thing about these Amels is this. So if you've got extra crew or you've got one person staying, you've always got space for them, because this opens up into a single berth. And there's a nice little curtain that goes up here too, so they get privacy. Right, over to the galley. Right, so the galley, the kitchen as we're known in normal houses. So in the galley, it's quite a big space, you know, for boats really. It's a big space for a boat. So you've got plenty of kitchen surface, 2 sinks. We've put a water filter tap on, glasses. Under here, there was a dishwasher, we took it out. So we have recycling, and then we've got food that can be thrown overboard if we're at sea. We've got the other bin here. A couple of cupboards here. This is our teas and coffees and our oils and all that sort of thing. We've got electric kettle for when we're on shore power. And otherwise, when we're at sea, we have this kettle. We have, this is packed full of food now to last for weeks. And down here, in these corners, we've packed full of milk and boxes for storing food. There's a normal upright fridge here, and we've got the washing machine here. We've got another storage down there, and this cooker, well, as we set sail today, we need to get it so it gimbals, because when the boat's swaying, this needs to stay flat if you've got hot pan on there, so that just sways with the boat. Cool. We've got drawers of forks and knives, and this is all the glasses, plates, bowls, saucepans, frying pans. There's plenty of space in this boat. This shows us how much water we have. This is another really neat thing on an Amel. So at the moment it's very full, so it's right up there, and when the water goes down, the float just drops with the water. Under the seat, this is our main freezer, which is really handy for carrying a lot of stuff. The navigation station. Okay, so the navigation, we've got a normal radio, got plug sockets. This tells us how much solar there is, how much power we've got in the batteries. We've got a radar. This is the SSB, so we can turn on the AIS. We've got the radio, GPS, and speed and depth. So we've got a fixed VHF, which is here with the speaker at the top, and this is a handheld VHF. Some really handy drawers as well, where we put all our pouches for VHFs and things. Underneath it, all the charts are kept, and pilot books. And underneath, even again, we've got some cupboards. These are some of the transformers there, and on the other side we've got our printer and our laminator, so it's kind of like officey stuff. There's a quick grab storage section here, and this is where we keep our life jackets and buoyancy aids, easy to get to. These are all the manuals, paperwork. Around here we've got the EPIRB, and we've got fire extinguisher here, over there, flares. Okay, over to Rowan's cabin.
Hi, so this is my cabin. I've got a shelf along here with all my stuff. This is the table for the cockpit. So when we want to eat outside, we bring it outside and it attaches on. I've also got, because I've got a smallish bed, I've got this extension. So when I have friends over and stuff, it connects to my bed, and then it's just like this massive bed around my whole cabin. In here I have my clothes cupboards. I have my books. I have purses and random stuff. I have art stuff, some more books, swimming costumes, more art stuff. I also have the batteries under my bed. I can't show you right now because it's screwed in, but like every so often when my dad needs to check the batteries, I'll come back and my whole bed that I've just tidied will be completely wrecked because he's lifted it up and because all the batteries are underneath. So I don't have much privacy because I only have a curtain, but I can go into my parents' bed when I want to. I have a cupboard, a wardrobe in here, and it goes really far back. I'm keeping stuff like bows and arrows in here because it's that big. I also have a USB thing that my dad put in so I can charge my phone. I can charge lights under here. This is my parents' room. They have another heads in here. They have this gigantic cupboard in here. It's like the one down there beside my brother's room. The desk me and my dad share. I use it for homeschooling, he uses it for offices. We have a stool that comes out here. Some CDs under there. I have my school books in here. And this side was my dad's side till I took it over with my stuff. In here we have the just pencil cases and stuff, pens. This is all my dad's technical stuff that I'm not allowed to touch. And then in here we have the hard drives. And in here we have a safe and my mum and dad's swimming costumes. So when I want to read, I can sit here and I can stay here for hours just reading because you have perfect lighting here. We also have this ladder because, as I said before, my bedroom comes out into a double bed. So obviously my parents can't get through unless they crawl under, and they can't really do that. So we can take this down and then you can just climb out the window. In here we have my mum's clothes. We have places to charge and stuff up here. Books. And my dad's clothes.
Okay, another really good thing about these boats is that there's 4 separate bulkheads, so 4 separate areas. So if you get water in one part of the boat, you can separate it from the rest of the boat with these doors. This is one of the doors. So that is a really thick door and it's got a seal around it, an extra safety measure. Our boat tour and our home. This is our home, and yeah, we'll do another. This is our life. So we'll do some more another time, but yeah, that's it for our first major boat tour. We won't go swimming unless I finish this.
Get back there. Back there.
This boy needs to go overboard.
You and me, we're family. No matter how far away we've grown to be.
Okay, so thank you for everybody for watching these videos, and thank you for sharing them. Thanks especially to the patrons for helping us to get the equipment, to create these videos, to edit and then produce them, and also to get ice creams for the children, to keep them out of the way so we've got time to create these video vlogs. Thanks a lot.
And if you want to do it, do it.